it was quite difficult for a woman to get any financing. First of all, no one used to take it serious because, I mean, why, what is it? Why should you should be at home taking care of your family? Or maybe you should be somebody else's secretary somewhere in an office. What is this business you are talking about? So
well, hi everyone, this is Nishant. I'm the founder and CEO of Various, and I'm also your host for this podcast that is being brought to you by Royal Academy of Engineering.
So today on this podcast, we have Catherine. Catherine is an amazing entrepreneur who is working in the menstrual solution to provide an end-to-end solution through IT. I'll let Catherine to talk more about her solution, and then we'll see where the conversation goes. So welcome, Catherine. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for the invitation. As you heard, my name is Catherine Wanjoya. I'm the founder and CEO of Genesis Care. Genesis Care is based in Kenya, where we solve the problem of access, affordability, and the disposal of menstrual products. We use several products which use IoT technology. And recently, we've started working on making them use AI in the technology. So basically, we have items like dispensers using IoT technology for them because we noted that it's very expensive for marginalized communities to afford menstrual products because most of them come in packets. They're not able to buy the packet. So what we do, we break the pack and sell them using IoT technology, whereby they are able to dispense like less than 0.6 of a dollar for a sanitary pad because we found out that girls were missing school because of this product. Apart from that, we also have menstrual incinerators, which are on site and also using the same kind of technology to destroy the menstrual products, so just to make the environment safe. So basically, that is what we do.
That's pretty amazing. Congratulations on that, Catherine. So if I talk about when you got this idea, so if we can get some understanding how you actually stumbled on this, and then how did you realize like this is exactly what you want to do?
Okay, for me, this is something a business actually which was not even planned. It just happened. Because after growing up in the rural areas, I never got the opportunity of using a proper menstrual product. And then later when I went to work, of course I could afford, so I started using them. Got a family, my children grew up. I had an empty nest. Then I decided to go back to the village and just find out what was happening. When I went back to the village after almost 30 years, I found the same products I was using, which are just pieces of cloth, are the same ones which are being used in the village. And to make it worse, even the shops were not even stocking those products, any menstrual products. So that is how we came about with this solution to try and make those products accessible to women and girls in those areas, just to solve the problem. So that's how we started, just wanting to solve a problem. And then from there, the innovation just came in.
Right, right. And did you ever face any problems coming from the cultural background or like the entire mindset of people around menstrual hygiene? So were there any problems that you faced when you actually started?
Of course, when I started, for us, even to mention the word menstruation in our language is a taboo. So of course, it wasn't easy even for myself, having grown up in that era. But with time, I got to mention about it. So first of all, we had even to talk to the teachers of the schools and also the villagers about it, and just to tell them there's nothing to be ashamed about. So it was awareness. We had to do a lot of awareness, and just to make sure that people accept the idea, because it's not every time we'll be there we had to get champions in the villages to be talking about it. So for us to train them, we had actually to tell them that it's okay even to mention that word, and to try and demystify menstruation in the village, for us actually to be able to solve the problem.
Right, right. And since you started, how do you like what difference do you think that there has already come within the mindsets of the people? Has it become easier to sell to make people understand about the problem? Are people coming back to you automatically, or you still have to put in all that effort you were putting previously?
It's much easier now, because apart from that, because this actually happens across the country. And I would say even for the most part of Africa, that it's a taboo to talk about that. But some years back, I think in 2020, the Kenya government even came up with a project where they were actually talking about demystifying menstruation and in the villages, and that really helped us, because after starting in 2017, it was far much easier now for us, even when we went to the villages to talk about it. So with that, and actually the government also recognized what we were doing when they found out that we were already on ground, and right now we even have a policy on menstrual hygiene management. And actually we were part of that group which was coming up with the policy. So we've gotten a lot of support from the Kenyan government, and even our products, actually, we are able to sell them. The uptake has been good with them.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So coming to specifically, the product, how would you define the difference between what you offer and what, other companies working in the similar domain offers?
Okay, for one, when it comes to access and affordability of the product, you find that in most parts, in the marginalized communities, in the rural areas, and even in urban slums, the products are sold in packets, and that makes them unaffordable, because most families live under $2. And when you tell them to use like $1.50 to buy just a packet of sanitary pad, that does not make sense to them, because they still have to provide for their families. But when you make it far much cheaper, like half of a dollar for them to buy, or far much less than that to buy sanitary pads, they are able even to use part of that money which they've earned, probably to buy a piece or two pieces of sanitary pads, to make a girl go back to school and also provide for the family. Because we found out that girls were dropping out of school just because they could not afford those sanitary pads or any other proper menstrual product.
Right. This makes sense a lot. So when we very specifically talk about an individual which is being impacted by the product that you essentially are offering, so can you walk us through that impact in their own lives that you have already seen, maybe a case study that you have already done, just so our viewers can have an understanding about how hard it is for a woman living in Africa to get access to these products, and how Genesis Care is actually bringing that deeper impact into their lives.
Okay. I would talk about the largest impact that we got was during COVID. Because during COVID period, most schools were closed. And because like in Kenya, some schools, especially from high school, they are usually boarded. Girls are boarded in those schools. They only get home maybe in 3 months in a year. But now this time, these girls were sent back home. So they could not afford, they could not get the sanitary pads, because sometimes we have donors giving the schools sanitary pads to provide for them. And now when they went to the village, it was more than a year, they could not get those sanitary pads. And of course, they didn't want to go back to what they were using. So we got a lot of early pregnancies in Kenya. Actually, there was one county which had more than 40% of the girls did not got pregnant, and others just dropped out of school during that period. Because what used to happen, because they are used to those products, they used to maybe go around with in Kenya and in Africa, we have these transport using motorbikes. And we have now the locals, they buy motorbikes and they use that one for transporting people from one place to the other. So because those are the people who are in the village, who have money, so the girls were getting cheated by these guys and just to buy a packet of sanitary pad or even get some money. So most of them got pregnant. But in my village, what we did, we decided to do, there were about 6 schools. During that period, we decided to offer sanitary pads. So what we were doing, we went to the schools and gave sanitary pads. And since already we had a program which was running, the girls used to go to the school to pick sanitary pads. And we found out that in that area, the numbers of the girls who got pregnant were very few. Actually, we only got like 2 girls in a big area which only got pregnant, whereby the others, the percentages were quite high. So I would say we saw that impact coming very real during that period.
Wow, very amazing, and congratulations on that. So, Catherine, I would like to now talk a little bit about you and learn a little bit more about your own background. You spoke about how you got to, doing this specific business, but can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing before, coming to this, and what's your own background that might have or might not have sort of help you to transition into an entrepreneur, which is solving such a big problem in Africa?
Okay, I would say my background is sales. And I started my first business when I was quite young, in 1988. But that business was doing supplies of relief goods. Relief goods, because like in Africa, especially where Kenya is located, we'll find that there are usually wars in our neighbors. And usually when such happens, people are displaced. And we have a big refugee camp, like 2 big refugee camps in Kenya, which have got very many people. So what we were doing, we were supplying relief goods in Southern Sudan and in Somalia. So Southern Sudan just got independence just less than 10 years ago. But before then, that is what we were doing. So we were working with NGOs who could not be located into those countries, who are located in Kenya, and they were sourcing from Kenya. So they were sourcing from Kenya, and then we were sending the goods there. Sometimes they just used to pick the goods from us and they just go and do drops using planes. Other times when it is safe, they could just track them using vehicles. So for the longest time, that is what we've been doing as a business. It's actually a family business. So it was relief goods to Somalia, to Sudan, and we got a bit of it also. We also did for Kenya when we had some violence in 2008, post-election violence. We also resettled the IDPs. So basically, that is what we were doing over the years. For almost 30 years, that's what we've been doing.
Wow. Okay, so you essentially are coming with a huge entrepreneur background where you were already involved with a lot of things. And I think supply chain, because from what I understand, being an enterprise which provides such essential goods, it requires to know a little about the supply chain issues and advantages as well. And I think this background of yours, which you just spoke about, must have definitely helped you in order to understand how you can bring your product even to the last segment of your own community. So amazing to know that. So Catherine, now we understand what the product is, how you have basically, brought in the impact. So what does the future hold? Like, where exactly are you moving? What are the plans? And if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, for the future, we know that unless you continue innovating in business, you really cannot have a future. So we keep on innovating, coming up with new products. Like we started with 2 products, now we have 4 products. With the 4 products that we have in the market, what we are focusing on is we recently came up with a dispenser which is being taken up by corporates in Africa. And what they do, where we have factories, like there's one company we call East Africa Breweries, whereby they had very many women in the factory, and where they have the change rooms was quite far. So during working hours, women used to move to their changing lockers to try and probably get a sanitary pads, and there's no way they could stop them. So we were able to go to them and told them that we could solve that problem by installing a dispenser in the factory washroom. So that is what we've done. And that dispenser, we call it accountability dispenser, where the organization is able to allocate sanitary pads to the employees, a number of sanitary pads for a number of period. And then using IoT, we are able now to track them and make sure that they end up with the right beneficiaries. So what we want to do, because we only have 2 corporates so far, so we want to try and move to other big corporates in Kenya, because those are the top ones, because we have one called Safaricom and now East Africa Breweries. So the focus is on now, not so much on innovation, but now pushing the products into the market. That is one of the product. The other product is we have 3 types of dispensers. There's one which uses coins, this one we're calling accountability, and another one which uses mobile money. So we also we are partnering with a UK university to see whether we can get one dispenser which can do all the 3. You can dispense using coin. You can account for donated sanitary pads if it's an organization like that, which will cut down on our costs. So that is something that we are working on with that university to see how we can do that. And apart from that, we want also to push our incinerators into the market more. Already we are in about 18 counties. In Kenya, we have about 47 counties. So we want to move into the remaining counties and also go into Africa, because the same problem is still there. So those are the plans we have for the future right now.
Great. So Catherine, talking about being a woman entrepreneur, right? What differences have you faced, and what are the what are the key pointers you would want to provide to the fellow women entrepreneurs, maybe people who are basically just starting right now, or people who are basically right now running their business? Like, what are those key pointers you would want to provide them? And if you can also tell a little bit about if you have faced any hurdles being a woman entrepreneur.
Yeah, probably I start with the last one. The problems are faced being a woman entrepreneur. When I first started the first company many years ago, let's say 33 years ago, because the first one I started in 1988, it was quite difficult for a woman to get any financing. First of all, no one used to take it serious, because what is it? Why should you should be at home taking care of your family? Or maybe you should be somebody else's secretary somewhere in an office. What is this business you are talking about? So people never used to take us serious as business people. And also, it was very difficult to get financing because in Africa, and I know in very many communities, women could not own any properties then. All the properties were being owned by men. So it was very difficult for an entrepreneur that time. But of late, things have improved. Women now can own properties. So if you have a property, it's easier to get financing because you can use that property as collateral. So I've seen a big change, a big shift, and this makes more women come into business. More women want to become entrepreneurs, which actually I would commend. It's a good thing happening. Apart from that, access to finance, there are other problems, of course, women will encounter as when they are doing business. Apart from the finance, yes, there are times when you go you're competing for a certain business, and probably you are the only woman. So when they start doing comparison, you might find that, especially when it comes to tendering, they might feel that the men are more capable of doing the business better than the lady, especially when it comes to engineering. Women engineers are not taken serious. Men would prefer to, most organizations would prefer to have men, especially in Africa. So that is another problem that I would say that it's happening. What I would want to tell other women is to start by, first of all, taking STEM subjects very serious, because that's now where most innovations come from. Because for you to be an engineer, you have to be very good in STEM. So we encourage more women to take those subjects when they're still young, and when they grow through that, it will be easier for them to come up with new innovations. Now, and then also now, women should also be confident that they can do it. They should believe in themselves. That is what I would encourage them to just believe that they can also do them as much as better as the men are doing it. So that is what I would say, right now.
Thank you for your wise words, and definitely, I think resilience and perseverance are the keys for anyone to succeed. And I guess with the challenges that women are facing and have already faced, I believe they are much more capable and powerful than we are, and we essentially need to give them the space and the resources to basically move ahead. So, I think we are getting to the end of the podcast. So I would like to, first and foremost, thank you so much, Catherine, to join us over here, share your thoughts, snippets about your own life. Use this.
Hello.
Yes. I'll just start the recording and just give a quick intro, and then I'll call you. I'm just trying to understand how the views are going to be switched. Okay, right now it's speaker, and then I'll just go in gallery. All right. Okay, fair enough. So hi everyone, this is Nishant, and I'm the founder and CEO of Urius. Today I am acting as a moderator for the LIF-E. Sorry, I need to do it again. Sorry about that. And I hope that these could help other entrepreneurs to understand wherever they are in their own journey. And yeah, if you would want to share about how people can reach out to you. So if in case someone has any questions, any doubts, they can connect with you offline maybe. If there's something that you can share about that.
Offline, or now?
Yes, if someone can connect with you on LinkedIn, if you have a profile, we can add it at the last as well afterwards, so you don't have to talk about that. So what we'll do is maybe afterwards we'll just add your LinkedIn, and people can basically reach out to you if they have any problem.
Sure. I'll appreciate that.
All right.
I'll appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Catherine. That was great. So I'll just stop the recording, but please do Hello everyone, this is Nishant and I'm the founder and CEO of Various. And today I am with you all as the moderator for the LIFE podcast. This is a podcast sponsored by the Royal Academy of Engineering for the LIF Fellowship. It's the Leaders in Innovation Fellowship. And the idea for this podcast is to basically talk with different entrepreneurs coming from different backgrounds, biases, in order to understand about their own experiences and their lives in terms of how they get to where they are and where we are basically looking to go from there.